I'm honored to introduce Francesco Starace, who is the CEO and General Manager of Enel. He is also the Chair of Sustainable Energy for All, and he's passionate and committed to supporting and making sure that we achieve SDG 7. In fact, he's actually ahead of the curve. There's a lot of renewable energy initiatives that have been brought onto Enel in different situations all around the world, even before a lot of different companies. So Francesco, it's a pleasure to speak to you today. You recently announced these very ambitious targets that will place put in Enel's energy compacts in line with the high-level dialogue on energy. From the benefit of other countries that may be considering creating their energy compacts, can you explain the process of how Enel arrived at these targets outlined in the compact?
Sure, Damilola, thank you. And again, it's a pleasure to be here and then to participate to this very important Be Bold conversation series, which I think is critical to understanding the reasons why we do things and the rationale behind them. Basically, what we did at the end of 2020, we had a very comprehensive study of what was the dynamics of the energy sector in which we sit, which is our business. And we studied it a lot. We had a lot of time to do that during the pandemic, and we used that time to really understand what happens in the next 10 years, which we called the decade of action, because this is about deploying technologies we have today and not waiting for things to evolve. Just we use what we have. And we found out that together with many others, and the last discovery from the IEA was a big confirmation of this effort, that the space of renewable energy is expanding in a very rapid way. It's been expanding in the last years, but it will keep expanding for at least the next 10 years, to the point that it will be 3 or 4 times larger, the whole renewable energy sector, when compared to what it is today, which is already pretty sizable. So we found ourselves being a large player today, and we said, can we remain a significant player in the face of this expansion? And the answer is yes, provided we also grow more or less in tune with this expansion. We put together a plan that clearly trebles our renewable energy capacity from about 49,000 megawatts to 145,000 at the end of the decade. That in the context of doing that, removes coal from the mix, bringing forward to 27 the 2030 deadline that we had before. But on top of that, reduces the specific gas emissions that we have certified under Science-Based Target Initiative criteria from 214 to 85 grams per kilowatt hour, so big reduction in the same time period, but also providing energy access to 5.6 million people, beneficiaries that today do not have it in the time period, in this time frame, and increase the number of charging points for electric vehicles from about 880 that we have today to 180,000 that we have today to 4 million charging points by 2030. So this is, in an essence, why we did it, because we found out that by doing that, we have a better business plan. So that was the bottom line. So it is good for, let's say, the society in general and for the planet also, but it is also good for our accounts. And it is, I think, something that I recommend to other companies. Look closely to what's going on, because it's an incredible opportunity that everyone should be bold about.
I'm so glad you said be bold about as well. I think you touched on something really important, the fact that it's just good business sense now to be Paris aligned, to be climate friendly, and to be thinking about the most vulnerable people. So, I mean, for too long, it was seen as an inconvenience, but Enel has showcased that it actually should be truly part of how business evolves. Just lastly, if there's anything you want to say, before we close.
No, I think that, the high level dialogue on energy that is taking place has come up with 11 recommendations. They're all good, they're all great. But what pertains to this particular interview, I think, is number 6 and number 11. They have to do with the role that governments have to establish integrated energy planning strategies that make sense on the medium term. So not just go by 2050, but what happens between now and 2030. That's really what really shapes the world tomorrow. And the other one is the 11, which has to do with making this a participated effort. With governments, stakeholders of different nature, but also financial institutions, which have been waiting for a long time for this opportunity to contribute to this revolution. They need it because the financial community understand that real value lies in this transition done in the proper way. So I think it's an incredible opportunity. There is a lot of alignment of interest for once in our lifetime. So we should be happy about it and manage it in a smart way. So I welcome this opportunity, Damilola, that you gave me, because I think it's never enough to repeat. It's something we have to do together.
Thank you so much, Francesco. And thank you, for the support you have for SEforALL, and your dedicated and your commitment to ensure that the just global transition, it's inclusive and it works. You've really set the standard in terms of your organization for others to follow. So I'm really happy with that. And it's a pleasure to always speak with you and to speak with you, particularly on the Be Bold series. And I look forward to seeing you in person at the High Level Dialogue in September. So thank you very much, Francesco.
See you, everybody.